Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media and another live stream. We're going to be breaking down the entire Jets-Patriots game with my brother Ali, and then Jack will be joining in a couple of minutes. There's a lot to dissect in this game. As you guys know, Ali and I were at the game. We saw this nightmare unfold firsthand, and we're going to talk about Zach Wilson's struggles, and there's a lot of other things I want to dive deep into, whether that's the really good play of the defense, the really good play of the rookie Michael Carter, the entire offensive line looked better, and the coaching staff's adjustments from week 1 to week 2. There's so much that we're going to get into in this long stream here on Jets Media, so welcome into the stream, guys. Smash that like button if you did not already, and welcome into the chat. I know you guys are probably disappointed right now on Monday, the day after a loss. It's not Victory Monday. We're not celebrating anything, but hey, what else is new? We're Jets fans. We're used to this. So, Ali, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. I lost my voice in the first quarter because that's when we were actually in the game a little bit. So I'm kind of a little bit out of the blue, and it was a long weekend. So it was very hard to watch this game. Just seeing him throw interceptions, and pretty much we had opportunities to steal a game and get back into the game, and we just didn't take that opportunity, which was, it sucks, but it is what it is, and you got to move on. But for this game, it was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, and a lot of Jets fans were at the game, including myself and Ali, and we were tailgating. We get there, we see Fireman Ed just hyping up the crowd with the JETS, 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 Jets chant. First time fans are back in the stadium for the first time in 2 years, and the energy was through the roof. And then the defense comes out there. We almost get to fumble, but it gets called back. And then we get a Marcus May sack to force the defense to punt the ball to the Jets. First play of the game is a beautiful run by Ty Johnson. And then the next play is indeed the first interception of Zach Wilson. So it went from so much excitement all the way throughout MetLife Stadium. And then we just got very disappointed, and the life got sucked out of the fan base because we saw something unfold. So first and foremost, we got to talk about Zach Wilson. We definitely got to talk about Zach Wilson. This is something that a lot of Jets fans are disappointing in. There's a lot of Zach Wilson fans disappointed in this game, and we're going to dive deep into it, man. So first and foremost, let's talk about his stats, and then we're going to give our thoughts about what happened in this game in particular, what he can learn from, what he needs to improve on, all that stuff. So Zach Wilson, he was 19 of 33 in this game, finished with 210 passing yards, 0 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and finished with a 6.4 yards per attempt. So my take on Zach Wilson, I uploaded my recap video this morning, but I knew going into this season that a game like this was going to happen. I knew that Zach Wilson, as a rookie, was going to have a game where he throws 3 or 4 interceptions. That's just reality. It's just part of being a rookie. And no, not every single rookie has a game like this, but it happens. It's natural, especially with the rookie head coach, especially with the rookie offensive coordinator and all the young guys around him. It's just, I knew it was going to happen. Did I think it was going to happen this early, week 2, home opener, seeing it live in person? Yes, it sucks when it happens, when you're in the moment and you're experiencing that nightmare unfold right in front of your face. It is terrible, but I really expected it to happen because it's the natural part of being a rookie. You see what's going on around the league with the rookie quarterbacks. Outside of Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence has 5 interceptions of his own through his first 2 games, just like Zach Wilson. Mac Jones is smart with the football. We'll get into what we saw from him. Justin Fields gets in the game yesterday because of Andy Dalton's injury. He throws an interception, doesn't look that good. So it's part of being a rookie. Even Joe Burrow, the first overall pick last year, he had 2 interceptions on back-to-back throws yesterday. So being a young quarterback in the NFL is not easy, and you got to understand the speed of the game. You got to understand everything when it comes to being a rookie quarterback in this league. And obviously, Zach Wilson has a lot to learn from in this game. The one thing that I noticed from Zach that I think he's really going to have to improve on is simply not looking for the big play. I feel like that was his issue in this game. He always tried to be a little too aggressive. He didn't want to be conservative. He didn't want to check it down. He tried to get that big explosive play a little too often, and that's what really bit him in the ass, in my opinion. I feel like he felt the energy from MetLife. He felt the home crowd. He wanted to impress us, and he tried to do a little too much with the football, which caused us to lose the game. And I really feel like the only person to blame in this game is Zach Wilson. I love what I saw from the entire roster outside of Zach. So we're going to talk about so much more when it comes to Zach Wilson throughout this entire stream. So buckle up. I would love to hear what you guys have to say in the chat. Make sure you guys like it and subscribe to the channel. We got Jack joining the show now. What's good, Jack?
What up, boys? What up? What up? What up? What up? How we doing? Doing?
Welcome back to the stream, man. Welcome back to the stream. I was just giving my thoughts of Zach Wilson, his performance yesterday. So Ali, I'll give it to you before we head to Jack about Zach Wilson's disappointing performance. So what you took away from it the most?
It is what it is. That's how you gotta take it. With the grain of salt. I mean, he's only played 8 quarters of NFL football so far, so you can't really overreact. But it's definitely that you have to blame him for the loss. You have to. The decision he was making was not good. He was force feeding Corey Davis, and it was just not connecting. He kept doing it, but it was just not working. Bill Belichick knows that, and he knows how to get inside of a rookie's head, and that's exactly what he did here. He moved the schemes a little bit and made it hell for Zach Wilson to succeed. The offensive line played decent. The running game was going, but Zach Wilson just couldn't make plays because the Jets had, and maybe until the third quarter, a chance to come back in this game by just scoring a touchdown. They could have changed the entire momentum of the game if they scored a touchdown, and they had chances, but they just couldn't capitalize on it, which is very concerning, for a team like that. I'm not gonna I tweeted this out yesterday. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this. Is that you're a professional football team and you cannot play football like that out there. I don't care how young you are. I don't care how raw you are and talent-wise. You cannot play a football game like what you played out there. It just doesn't work that way. You are going to lose games with the young squad. You're going to lose games with the raw squad, but don't embarrass yourself out there. You're a professional football team. You're supposed to play at that level. I saw Elijah Moore not doing the routes correctly. We all love him, but he did not do his routes correctly. And Zach Wilson had a couple interceptions like that. I saw most of the wideouts were just not doing their job, besides maybe Braxton Berrios. That's the guy that was doing all the work pretty much the entire game. I think he was just trying to get the big plays and not trying to move the chains. Zach Wilson kept tossing it down the field, and it was incomplete pass or intercepted, and he was just not seeing the field correctly. And that has to do with Bill Belichick being the veteran head coach, the head coach he is, but they had to make him feel more comfortable. They had to do more short passes, get more people involved. Keelan Cole only got 1 snap, I believe, on offense, which is stupid. It just was not working for him. But yeah, that loss is on the team as a whole. It's not just on Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson played a big part of the loss, but like I said, as a football team, that's a disgrace of the game.
Interesting take from Ali there about the Jets' disappointing loss yesterday. We got so much to get into in this stream, guys. Welcome in. I see you guys coming in the chat. Hope you guys are having a great day on Monday, Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I know Jets fans are going through all the emotions right now. So we're just getting started on the stream, guys. We appreciate everybody tuning in to another Jets Media live stream. So, Jack, I'm going to hand the mic to you. Welcome to the stream, brother. Jack and I went to the game together. We drove there together. We had a great time. At least I did. So why don't you give your thoughts about the game? And we are talking about Zach Wilson now, so you can give your thoughts about Zach before we get into the other guys around him.
Yeah, I had a great day. It was a blast at the stadium. at the tailgate, getting to meet everybody and meeting Ali for the first time, and meeting some fans of Jets media, and meeting some other Jets YouTube people. So it was just a fantastic morning, and couldn't have been better. Beautiful weather. It was gorgeous. And then the football game started, and then I questioned why I came to New Jersey to watch this team play, man. Because like you said, Ali, and I'm not going to overreact. I understand. It's week 2 of a new era with a new head coach, first year head coach, and a rookie quarterback. I understand. I'm not going to overreact. But at the same time, just the circumstances of this particular game, first game with fans since 2019, home opener of the season, all gas no break, vibe amongst Jets fans. Just I really, really, really was desperate to see a win in person yesterday, and it's not even like I got to see a competitive loss. Just the product that they put out there on the field, man, was just not up to par. Like you put it, Ali. I'm trying not to overreact. Like I said, I understand we have a rookie quarterback, a first-year head coach, but when you get outscored at your home stadium 25-6, and you don't even get in the end zone, and your quarterback, albeit a rookie quarterback, throws 4 interceptions, it's almost it was as bad as it gets, man. Me and Richie were sitting there the entire time, just we didn't even know what to say. It was kind of it was really depressing, honestly. After a while, like I was on such a high, I was on cloud 9 going into the stadium, and then first half was obviously extremely rough, and then once I realized that we weren't going to have a good second half like we had last week, it was just it was rough, man. I'm just giving it to you guys straight. It was a total disappointment, and I understand it's early in the season, week 2, like I said before, a new era with a new head coach and a new quarterback, but that really doesn't matter when you're getting outscored by another team who has a rookie quarterback 25-6. And now, granted, we've all said it, we were all saying it during the week, we all knew it was going to be a tough game, we all knew Bill Belichick was coming for us. But, Zach Wilson in particular was completely outplayed by Mac Jones. Mac Jones looks like the best quarterback of this draft, of this past year's draft class, and it's not even close at this point. Mac Jones is, leading the way as far as that goes. I mean, he looked good yesterday, man. And he was, and it's like people in the chat have been saying that I see. And, like we were saying yesterday, and I heard Robert Saleh say it in his post-game press conference as well. Zach Wilson needs to learn how to, play boring football. Like you said, Ali, he needs to stop going for only the big plays and start learning how to, move the chains and keep a drive going. And, get into field goal range and eventually get into the red zone, hopefully score. Obviously those big plays are what we're looking for. We haven't had in a Jets offense in a long time, is the ability to, make explosive plays. But it clearly was just not working yesterday. I mean, those first 2 picks would have been, tough catches. And at the end of the day, it's Zach Wilson still throwing the ball into tight coverage. But those second 2 picks were blatantly horrible throws. I was watching them as they unfolded, 50 yards away from where it was happening. And I just said, don't throw that ball. Don't throw that ball. I was literally watching Zach's head move as he progressed through his reads. And on the 3rd interception, it was terrible, man. It's as bad as it gets as far as, being an NFL quarterback and going through your reads and just deciding, okay, I'm going to throw this ball. It was as bad as a decision as you're going to see in the NFL. I don't know, you use your legs there, you try to get out of the pocket and throw the ball away. You don't throw that ball. And I was behind him. So what I was seeing was, his view as well. Obviously not his view, but from the same kind of angle of where he was looking at it, because I was looking at it from behind where he was standing. There was no way you should be throwing that ball. So those 3rd and 4th interceptions were just absolutely brutal. But it's mistakes that he's going to have to make, and it's week 2 and it's early and it's not the end of the world. I still think the sky's the limit for him. But just the circumstances of us being at this particular game and it being the home opener, First time with fans back in MetLife since 2019 for the Jets. The fact that we got the show and that we did, I understand very early in the year, but just this particular game, it was tough, man. And I know I just spoke for way too long, but I had a lot to get off my chest there.
No, you didn't speak too long. You got to speak it out. This is Jets therapy as well.
It really
as,
is. I feel good after I got a crazy sunburn. Look at this. Look at my chest.
Half of my
chest
face.
and look at the neck.
I don't think you can see it now, but yesterday, like from here down, I was all sunburned because I was wearing sunglasses. But yeah, that's really the talk of Zach Wilson. I might have a bold take here, and people can completely disagree with me, and that's okay. This is what this is all about. But I'm not saying we would have won, but I really like our chances in this game if Zach Wilson played, just didn't turn the ball over. And obviously that's saying it a lot. That's hypothetical. Well, you don't know what would have happened in the game. But the reason I say that is because everybody around Zach Wilson, in my opinion, played very good football. The offensive line looked insanely way more improved from week 1. And I'm just connecting the dots from week 1 against Carolina to week 2 against the Patriots, what this coaching staff did to really hone in on their mistakes in week 1. The offensive line was atrocious week 1. We cannot establish a run game for the life of us. We couldn't even try to run the ball at all in week 1. Week number 1 as well. We cannot protect Zach Wilson at all. The offensive line looked so good in this game. The run game, Michael Carter, the running back, looked so sensational as a rookie. Ty Johnson as well. Tevin Coleman even had a big run. All three of those guys averaged around 5 yards per carry. All three of those guys had their own explosive run of 14-plus yards apiece. Everybody around Zach did their job. The wide receivers, Corey Davis, disappointed. That first pick, I really feel I would like Corey Davis to bring that ball down. I'm not, taking it away from Zach. I'm not saying it's not Zach's fault, but that's a play I want to see Corey Davis come down with. There was another play where I saw it wasn't an interception, but Zach Wilson threw the ball, and Corey Davis tried to do a little quick slant, and he lost his footing, got checked at the line of scrimmage. Overall, it's just a disappointing day from Corey Davis. And Elijah Moore on that third interception, that was a miscommunication between Elijah Moore and Zach Wilson. But now on the defensive side of the ball, they kept us in this game. They were all over the place. C.J. Mosley looked like the Pro Bowl guy and the Ravens that we thought we were getting 2 years ago. Michael Carter II, Marcus May, John Franklin Myers, like this defense kept us in the game. So what I'm trying to say is there's so much positives coming out of this game outside of the play of the quarterback. And it's just unfortunate because the play of the quarterback is the most important part of the team in any NFL game. And he absolutely did terrible. There's zero shot you're beating Bill Belichick with having 4 turnovers and the Patriots having 0. You're going to lose. And the Patriots scored 19 points off of the turnovers. So that's how you capitalize. And all I'm trying to say is if Zach Wilson just played smart football and did not turn it over, I think this is a competitive football game just by the way the team played around it. And you got to tip your caps to the Jets coaching staff, man, because what they did to prepare their defense and what they did to prepare the offensive line against a big opponent, that was really impressive. Because how many times in the past week leading up to this game were we very nervous about the offensive line? Zach's going to get killed. It's Bill Belichick. The stunts are going to be nuts. The offensive line's not going to be able to open up holes. How are we going to establish a run game? We couldn't get to Sam Darnold. We only had 1 sack. All these question marks that we saw from week 1, they got solved. And that's the coaching staff. That's Robert Saleh's adjustments. That's Jeff Ulbrich. That is a lot of really positive things coming out of this game. And the positive things are not going to be talked about because it's overshadowed by the terrible, and I mean terrible performance from Zach Wilson. So all I'm trying to say is this is a big test for Zach Wilson and the coaching staff in particular of how they're going to bounce back, because we saw what they can do with dealing adversity and adjusting from week 1 to week 2. Now, how is this offensive coordinator, Mike LaFleur, and the offensive coaching staff going to get inside the mind of Zach Wilson and talk to him and say, okay, we got to clean up the turnovers, and how is he going to improve? So I was just very impressed by the coaching staff, seeing what they can do on a schematical standpoint and having their players ready and being able to deal with adversity and learning from their mistakes from week 1, because that goes a long way. Because what is this season about? It's about forming an identity, building a culture, and building a foundation here. And it's not easy. It's not going to happen in 1 week. It's not going to happen in 1 year. It's going to be a long run. And even though the most important part of the season is Zach Wilson's development, but it's also the development around him. And what I saw from the rookies of Michael Carter II, Michael Carter, the running back, Bryce Hall looks unbelievable through 2 games. What I saw from even Quincy Williams was insane. Marcus May, the development of even Brennan Eccles on the defensive side of the ball, Ty Johnson. Like, there's so many young guys that had a really good game in this game, and it's unfortunate that they're not going to be talked about because of the poor play of Zach Wilson, because that's what it all comes down to. If your quarterback plays like crap, that's what you're going to be talked about, especially when you're a rookie, and especially if you put up 4 interceptions and looked as bad as he did, because there's no sugarcoating his performance. All I'm trying to say is there's a lot of guys around Zach Wilson that impressed me the most, because I did not expect them to be able to dominate the line of scrimmage like they did. And I always said the formula to win with this Jets team is being able to run the ball, being able to protect Zach, and being able to get to the quarterback. And the ironic thing is we did all 3 of those things. Zach Wilson just did not do his job. That's my thoughts. I think that if he had a couple of those turnovers back, there were so many times where the offense was flowing. And then also I got to mention that there was a lot of penalties that hurt this team a lot. It wasn't perfect outside of Zach. That's not what I'm saying. There was a lot of things outside of Zach Wilson that needs to be cleaned up, whether it's the miscommunication with the wide receivers running the wrong routes, whether that's the penalty concerns. There's a lot of things that needs to be cleaned up. But overall, I'm very excited. And I'm very happy with what I saw from this coaching staff's ability to deal with adversity and adjust from week 1 to week 2. So, Ali, what's your thoughts about the Jets, team around Zach Wilson in terms of the offensive line, the running back game, the defense? Like, what is your thoughts about the coaching staff's adjustments from week 1 to week 2?
As I said before, they're young, they're raw, but still, what they put on the field was not there. It just was not productive. It was not an NFL type team out there. It's just that simple. I don't care who you're playing, but that type of performance should not be allowed or encouraged. Salah should hear all the criticism for that game. This entire team should hear criticism for the entire game. Yes, every team has some positives. The defensive line did pretty well. They got to the quarterback. They got to Mac Jones. The cornerbacks, I've said this from before the season started. I was confident in these corners that they would be decent. They're going to have some rough patches, but they will play decent, and they have been, one-on-one coverage. They've been spot on. They've been pretty good on that. So in that perspective, it's been pretty good. The running game finally got going. But again, it's a team effort. It's a team loss, and they did not get it done. If they needed to make a big play, then they did not make a big play. They couldn't do the easy things. So how are they going to do the big things if they can't get a first down? I mean, like, get into the red zone. Like, the little things they couldn't do. And, that's on the full team. And that's unacceptable performance, for that coaching staff, for the team itself. I'm not saying this because I'm giving up on this team, but they need to hear what they need to hear. You can't just say that, okay, they'll be better next week or whatever. You have to hear the criticism and get better. And that's what I said about Zach Wilson. He was not good at all. He was not great at all. His receivers were not running routes correctly, so that was another fault. He was just making bad decisions. He tried to do too much, and when a quarterback tries to do too much, that's horrible. That's horrible for a quarterback. That when they're trying to do too much, and you saw that, him running around in circles, literally holding the ball too long, and just making poor decisions. So, yes, we have positives. We have a team that could be pretty good. The team that's out there right now, is much better than what that score showed. Better than what the stats showed. But they did not show it on the field, so you have to hear the criticism. That it's plain and simple. And that type of play should not be allowed anymore. They need to get better and not have this type of game for the rest of the season. They cannot. You need to move the ball. You need to be more exciting, because you watch that Ravens game at night and you're just like, why can we not have this, right? Because even with Ravens injuries, they're working. They're moving the ball. They're doing something to move the ball and score points. The Jets can never do that. They can never figure that out, and that's on the team. The team needs to figure out themselves, and the coaching staff needs to figure it out at halftime, adjustment, and they did not make any adjustments at halftime, and that was very concerning because they kept doing the same thing over and over and over and same mistakes. So, again, I hope they learn. I think this coaching staff finally has something that they have film on that's bad film, and that they need to correct that for next week, because Denver is a tough matchup. It could be a winnable game if depending on Zach Wilson's performance. But every game is winnable. But he needs to. These guys need to figure this crap out, man. They need to, because this game cannot happen again, or Robert Salah literally will be, dreaded with these questions. I saw the press conference; all the reporters were going at him. He's gonna have to expect that if they keep losing like this, without scoring touchdowns, without only taking field goals. Like, it just doesn't make sense for the New York Jets to do that. So hopefully it gets better for them. But overall, it was a disgrace of a game, and they need to be better as a professional football team. They need to get better. It's simple.
Yeah, man, they do, and it's New York media. So Robert Saleh's in for a rude awakening. Zach Wilson's in for a rude awakening. Now they're going to experience all of the Wolves get out of there, and they're going to literally just be, harping on them. There's going to be a lot of bad articles written about them. It's going to be a big test to see how they can handle that, because that's a big character, because it's really hard to survive in the New York media market when you lose and you're not doing well. It's really true. This team as a whole needs to improve, and they need to go out there and look like an NFL caliber squad. And it's just hard when you are so inexperienced and you need to learn how to deal with it, because like last night's game, the Ravens-Chiefs game, that's called continuity and being in the same system over and over again for years of experience. We have so many guys outside of Zach Wilson doing their jobs for the first time, and they're learning on the fly. You can't really make that excuse saying like, oh, this is only their second NFL game, they should be better. But the truth of the matter is nobody's perfect right away, unless you're literally the greatest. Like, you're going to be the future of the entire league. Like, Mike LaFleur is not going to be perfect at the beginning of the season. Robert Saleh is not going to be perfect as a head coach. The rookie quarterback's not going to be perfect. They need to learn, and they got to do it fast, because you can't let it linger on all season long. Like, my mindset going into this season was it's going to be a rough one. There's going to be games where we get absolutely punched in the mouth because we don't look prepared. We look like the lesser team. The talent's not there. The preparation's not there. And then you go on Monday Night Football and you see these teams that have had great coaches for the past 3 or 4 seasons, and they have the structure. Like, for example, we watch the Patriots, and we know the Patriots more than anybody else. They've been in the same system for 20 damn years. That's called continuity. And the Jets are, starting fresh. And yes, we've started fresh a lot of times because it's been very bad for over and over and over again, and Jets fans are sick of it. And that's the biggest thing that I'm taking away from this is Jets fans, it's hard to be patient because we've been so bad. We've been so bad for so long, and it's really frustrating. But now there's a new regime, and I just personally think it's unfair for guys like Robert Saleh, and it's unfair for guys like Zach Wilson, because they're going to hear like the same old Jets narrative. They're going to hear the boos because us as fan bases, we're connecting them like, oh, it's going to be another Gase. It's going to be another Darnold. It's going to be another Sanchez. It's going to be another this. And now they're connected with the Jets past when they are trying to build something brand new and fresh, and it's really hard to do that. And it's going to take time, and it is a really frustrating loss yesterday. And there's a lot that we can get into, guys. There's a lot of people to blame. There's a lot of people to point fingers. And all in all, it's going to be how they bounce back and rebound into next week. So, Jack, is there anything else you want to add on to the topic before we get into, individual players?
Absolutely. I have a lot of things going through my mind right now that I'd like to get out there for you guys.
Let it loose, man. No filter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go. When you look at the current state of the Jets, you can definitely tell just by watching the games that Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded guy. This defense has energy. It has consistency. I would like to see us getting after back a little bit more, although we did a good job of that yesterday, much better than we did against Carolina. But, this defense has at least, kind of held their own throughout the first 2 games, but the offense just hasn't been able to keep up with it. That leads me to my second point. You can tell that Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded head coach because after 2 games, I'm completely and utterly, totally underwhelmed by Mike LaFleur and this entire offense. This offense just can't keep up with what this defense is doing for this team. This defense is giving us opportunities to be in these games, and our offense is not doing anything. I understand that yesterday was on Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson should not have thrown those passes. There's not much else you can say about that. But at the same time, look at the throws that Mac Jones was getting. Mac Jones was getting easy, wide open throws in the flat, check downs, tight end over the middle. I didn't see much of any consistency on the offensive end at all yesterday. Like Ali mentioned before, the fact that I only saw Keelan Cole on the field one time, that was blowing my mind as well. So are we really going with Jeff Smith and Berrios and Mims as a healthy scratch? And when Keelan Cole is active, who at least we're all saying, oh yeah, Keelan Cole's a baller, he can play, like he's a number 4, that'd be cool. I guess Jeff Smith is our number 4, and Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, and Jeff Smith. That's the wide receivers right now, which disgusts me. It genuinely disgusts me, and I need to know the answer. And I guess the answer is clear as day. It's what Robert Saleh and everybody that's asked about it within the organization keeps saying. I guess Mims just isn't up to scratch. But you can't tell me he's not when he comes onto the field last week for 2 snaps, and one of them goes for a 40-yard completion to Mims. And Braxton Berrios, although he did contribute, 5 receptions for 50 yards. Denzel Mims, 2 snaps, 1 reception for 40 yards. Who's the playmaker there and who's the non-playmaker? It's really not that hard to figure out. So I understand there's much more that goes into it, and we're just fans. We're not within the Jets organization, and we don't really know how the depth chart shakes out. We don't get the opportunity to be at practice watching this team all day. I understand all that, and I'm trying not to overreact, but it really does blow my mind when Mac Jones just has easy throw after easy throw, and Zach Wilson is just trying to force these balls into tight windows. Nobody's there, or he's just, seeing ghosts. He looked like he was seeing ghosts yesterday. I hate to say that. It breaks my heart that I have to say that, but the guy threw 4 picks. 2 of them were terrible, blatantly horrible picks that no NFL quarterback should ever be throwing in a game. So this offense has completely underwhelmed me. And we just can't have nice things as Jets fans, bro. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like you guys mentioned, all the problems from last week were fixed. The offensive line was great. The pass protection was great. The running game was great. Michael Carter, who me and Richie were really excited for, talking about him on the drive there. We hope Michael Carter goes off today. Let's see the rookie go off. Let's see this 4th-round pick go off. Michael Carter had a great day. Offensive line looked great. Defensive line held their own. I mean, the defense overall held their own very well. If we can get, an explosive play here or there, a turnover on defense, that would help out a lot. Maybe that would give the offense the spark it needs. But I can't complain about the lack of turnovers on defense when this offense is doing absolutely nothing to keep us in football games, and the defense is. So I'm just super disappointed in the offense that I've seen so far through these 2 games, man. And I honestly, I'm looking for a finger to point. It's certainly Zach Wilson this week, but overall, for the first 2 weeks, it's LaFleur for me. He's kind of on my shit list right now after the first 2 games. I'm not going to lie, man, because there's no offensive consistency whatsoever. The only consistent thing is a run up the middle, and thank God we at least had some sort of running game going yesterday. But I don't know, man. This offense is kind of scaring me to start out the year for sure.
Yeah, and it's really funny because going into the season, I was saying, and I know some Jets fans are saying, like, wow, I can't believe it. We might have a better offense than defense this year. Oh, what a clown I look like. But, yeah, the offense has 20 points in total in the first 2 games. That's inexcusable. Saleh was asked about it in his presser today, and the defense is doing their job every single game. We have obviously only had 2 games, but the defense has kept us in to have a chance to be competitive and have a chance to win the games. The defense is doing everything they can, and the special teams has been really good so far this season, outside of Amendola's missed kick. But the offense is what's holding his team back. And Mike LaFleur has to look himself in the mirror, and he has to understand, and the one thing I do like about Mike LaFleur, based on his press conferences and how he speaks, is he takes a lot of blame and he holds himself accountable. And I just personally like that because Adam Gase never did that. Ever did that. Every time I watched an Adam Gase press conference, I was waiting for him to, say something that he needs to improve on, and it's always pointing fingers the other way. So for LaFleur to understand that the protection issue starts with him, the Zach Wilson play starts with him, he's going to learn. He's going to understand that he needs to get Zach Wilson the ball in his hands and find people with open space early and often, get Zach Wilson into rhythm, because Mike LaFleur deserves the blame for the first 2 games. Absolutely. I'm not saying that. He deserves to be looked at as he is just as much to blame as Zach Wilson yesterday, because obviously LaFleur's not out there throwing those arid passes, but the passing concepts were a little, Dan Orlovsky tweeted out a picture today on Twitter saying, like, yes, Zach Wilson had a terrible game, but there was a lot of things on tape where the wide receivers were, all in one area, and that's play design, and that's, a lot of things. And I hate to bring it up, and I don't want to connect
terrifying,
but Greg Knapp, rest in peace to his soul, but he was the passing game coordinator for this team. He was hired here not to develop Zach Wilson. He was hired here to develop Mike LaFleur. That's why he was coming here. He was going to make the offensive pass game easy for Mike LaFleur to call. And maybe Mike LaFleur is missing out on that wise guy. I know that we hired Matt Cavanaugh and all that things, but LaFleur really needs to learn. He needs to call his big brother. He needs to call Shanahan. He needs to understand that we have a rookie quarterback, and everything was clicking for Zach Wilson. No, everything was clicking around Zach Wilson yesterday. It's pretty insane where you think about that. Week one, we were blaming the offensive line in the first half for Zach. He couldn't do anything. There was no run game. There was no protection. How can you expect Zach Wilson to do anything? Now, what the hell is the excuse? Maybe it is the play calling. Maybe it's also on Zach for sure. He needs to get easy completions. He needs to give the ball. Where are the creative screenplays? I see all 2 games in a row. And get used to this, Jets fans. Opposing offenses are going to be calling a lot of screenplays against the Jets because of our defense is very aggressive, and we like to, put a lot of pressure on the quarterback, so that opens up the screen pass. And I like what we did in the screen game, defensively speaking, this season, this game. But where's the creative screen passes for Michael Carter in the open space? We can see what Michael Carter can do in the open space. He got the ball in a quick, a little out route to the outside. Michael Carter make someone miss, breaks into the tackle. He has talent. I think Michael LaFleur has to really understand that this all starts with him. We had a lot of confidence with him going into the season, and it's not like he's an experienced guy like, for example, Jason Garrett for the New York Giants. He's been in the league, and he's been calling the offensive plays for 15-plus years, and that's a different situation. We have someone that's 34 years old who has never called plays on the offense in his entire life. So he's going to struggle. I'm hoping that he learns from it. I'm not saying it's guaranteed he's going to learn from it. I'm very hopeful about it. But it all starts with Mike LaFleur on the offensive side because, like Jack said, this defense has come to play. Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich deserves a lot of credit for what they're doing so far on this defensive side of the ball. And just before we move on to another topic, I want to talk about the wide receiver room that Jack brought up. Saleh talked to the media today, and he got asked about the Denzel Mims situation again and the Keelan Cole situation. And, in Saleh's words, Keelan Cole's wide receiver number 4, and the wide receiver number 4 means you have to be able to know all 3 positions on the field for the wide receiver room and play special teams. The wide receiver number 5 is strictly special teams, and that was Jeff Smith. And whenever they go to see who's going to be active at that 5th spot in the wide receiver, they go to Brant Boyer. Brant Boyer, the special teams coordinator. He is the deciding factor of who's going to be the special teams guy for that job. And Jeff Smith, he's a starter on this punt team on the defense. He's the starting gunner alongside Justin Hardy, and they only had 1 punt yesterday. So Jeff Smith only saw the field once on that punt. So that's what Robert Saleh said when it comes down to who's making the decisions on who's going to be active. The number 5 spot doesn't go to Denzel Mims because Denzel Mims doesn't have an impact special teams wise. And it really frustrates me because I've been hyping up. You think that's stupid, Jack?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't contain my rage right now. I didn't mean to interrupt you though. Keep going.
No, but I mean, it does. So do you think they should not keep Jeff Smith active and put up Denzel Mims and not have special teams gunner?
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but have any of you guys ever heard anything like this before? Why is Saleh even giving away this much detail? First of all, I've never heard anything about this. About wide receiver 4 must know these 3 positions on the field plus. What is that? Get the playmakers on the field. I mean, it's as simple as that. This offense has absolutely nothing going through 3 games, but we're going to continue to throw a bubble screen to Braxton Berrios instead of letting it fly down the field to Denzel Mims, who's 6'3" and runs a 4'3" 40 and can catch anything. I just don't understand it. I don't want to hear about, what the wide receiver's impact needs to be on special teams. It's just it's so frustrating to me. I'm sorry, but
no, it is. It is. Coming from someone that has been hyping up Denzel Mims ever since we drafted him, it infuriates me that this guy can't see the field. And Obviously, there's a lot of people ahead of him that's putting in more work behind the scenes that we're not seeing. The coaching staff is seeing who is putting in the work, who understands the plays more, and who is just looks like the better player to put on the field. And it's us as fans, we're blinded because we don't see what's going on behind the closed doors. We don't see what's happening at the training camp, and we don't know what's happening. So we can be wrong, or we could be completely correct. And I agree with everything you said. Denzel Mims, there's no excuse for him not to be out there. There's so many times where Zach Wilson threw up a ball at the sideline, 50-50 ball. We have someone on the roster that is literally, that is his bread and butter.
Bred for that. Was born for that.
The negative to Denzel Mims' game is route running. And that's maybe why he's not seeing the field right now. But you can't tell me that Denzel Mims is not a threat when it comes to that sideline 50-50 ball. And that's what Zach Wilson's kept trying to force the ball to on the sidelines, and it turns into interceptions. It turns into incomplete passes. I guarantee if you throw 5 balls up to Denzel Mims, 50-50, he's going to come down with 2 or 3 of those out of the 5. So it's a very frustrating situation that's happening. You know, the fan base wants to free Denzel Mims. We're very, upset that our second-round pick is, not seeing the field. I understand when it comes to the special teams factor. I understand why Jeff Smith gets the nod, because you do need special teams players. You need guys that you can give Brant Boyer, an opportunity to have really good punt special teams, because, I'm sure Jets fans don't want to hear special teams at all, because I feel like no one cares about that. I personally do. Patriots fans and Bill Belichick literally loves special teams. So Jeff Smith is a very valuable piece to the special teams group on the punt defense. It's him and Justin Hardy. So I give the benefit to the doubt. I understand that whole aspect, but it is very frustrating that they cannot find time for Denzel Mims. It's very, very frustrating. Trust me, I don't understand it. He is somebody that's a playmaker. He's somebody that can go up there. And I'll just finish it off with this statement right here. I really genuinely think that it's a problem behind closed doors that we're not seeing. I think there's a lot of people that's putting in more work than Denzel. There's people that's, showing the coaching staff that they are more passionate and they care more, because that's the only thing that I can take away from this. That's the only thing that's holding Denzel Mims back, that I can say with confidence that that's the issue. I don't think it's the physical talent part. Maybe there's people ahead of him that are putting in the extra work and showing the coaching staff that they care more, and putting in, when nobody's watching and the coaching staff's there, and you see, that player out there and the other player going home. That's some things that coaching staffs care about and they look for in players. And it's frustrating that Denzel Mims apparently is not proving the coaching staff that he deserves to play. If he is that talented, if he is that player that all of us, especially myself, have been hyping him up to be, then Denzel will prove to the coaching staff they need to play me. Because if he is that talented and he has that work ethic, then he needs to be able to prove to the coaching staff. Ali, do you want to join this rant? Because
I was gonna say, if you really want a deep threat, Keelan Cole is also available. He's active. He's a guy that can go up too. He's a guy that can go up too. Yeah, I would agree with them if they actually think Keelan Cole is better than Denzel Mims. Okay, fine. I'm fine with that. I'm a huge Keelan Cole fan. But if you're going to do that, why is he not on the field? That's the question mark that I'm trying to figure out. Is LaFleur just not calling the right plays? Is he just sticking with these 10, 15 plays that he's just going to use with these guys? I mean, just because he missed one game, he's just not in the game plan. That's kind of idiotic in many ways, because Keelan Cole saw the field maybe once or twice and did nothing, and he got no targets or nothing like that. So there's definitely some type of issue going on. Either LaFleur is showing that he's a rookie offensive coordinator and he doesn't know what to do, or there's just something behind the scenes, because Keelan Cole is, more experienced and pretty much like a Denzel Mims. He can make those plays if he gets a chance. And he did do that in minicamp. He did that in training camp. But now they're not even playing. So it is concerning. I want to see Mims out there. But I like Richie said, I think it's something behind the scenes. It's something going on that's not going correctly. But I also question that because Keelan Cole did not see the field. He was just not out there. And what questions me, when Jamison Crowder comes back, what the hell is going on with this team? Jamison Crowder didn't play the last 2 games. When he's out there, what's the wide receiver depth? Is Keelan Cole also going to be healthy scratch? We're not going to have those receivers out there? I mean, that's what I'm really questioning about, because I don't know what they're trying to do with the wide receiver position at all. I don't know what's if they're keeping secrets for like a next season. I mean, the season started, man. You're 0-2. You just lost embarrassingly on your home opener. Bring the guys that can make some plays. Mims made plays with Adam Gase. At least Adam Gase put him on the freaking field. At least Mims was making plays on the field. He's not even getting a chance. You cannot teach speed and length. You can't, and agility. You can't teach that. Elijah Moore, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Keelan Cole all have that. They can go up and get it. They can make plays on the field, and they're just not getting the opportunity to do that. The plays are not there, and we all know Zach Wilson likes to toss it up. And the guys who can make that catch are not even on the field. So it's a very questionable decision about Mims and not putting Cole in at all. I don't know what they're trying to see and what they're thinking, but maybe it's LaFleur, being the guy. He's a rookie offensive coordinator, and we're just seeing him just figuring out or just being absolutely stupid. But they got to figure that crap out, because I think people are going to get real angry very soon if you're not going to see Denzel Mims out there and Keelan Cole, and there's no success on that offense.
Yeah, very well said, Ali. And before we get into the next topic, which is going to be a more positive conversation about what's going on with this team, in my opinion, we're going to hear a quick word from the sponsor of today's stream, BetQL. We'll see you guys afterwards. Want to take an advantage over your sportsbook? You need to download BetQL, the only app you'll need to make smart bets. Their bets computer model scans over 350,000 unique bets per year to give you a best bet recommendation for every game across all major sports, and gives you the reasoning behind why you should place the bet. Their model covers everything from spreads, over-unders, and player prop bets. Don't want to use the model and prefer to do the research yourself? BetQL has all the necessary tools for your betting research needs. Everything from sharp data, line movement, team summaries, lineup and injury breaking news, and even leaderboards to track your success. Head to the App Store or Google Play Store now to download BetQL. You can also head to try.betql.com/JetsMedia to get started now. Enter the discount code JetsMedia at payment checkout for 25% off of their subscription offerings. You could find all this information in the description of this video. Make sure to check out their BetMGM offer in the description in order to receive a free year of BetQL. Also, make sure you check out the Sportsbook offers page if you live in one of the eligible states to claim free offers upon signing up at one of the many sportsbooks listed. Don't miss out on your chance to beat the sportsbook this football season. Once again, thank you so much to the sponsor, BetQL, for sponsoring the stream. If you guys want to use my code JetsMedia for 25% off, all that awesome information is down below in the description. So now let's talk about some other things when it comes to the defensive side of the ball. There's one player that just popped off the screen who is also on my fantasy team, which is pretty funny or not. Jack and myself, we are part of a 4-team fantasy team, and we just had a little fun, and we want to include defensive players. And I drafted CJ Mosley, and he put up a really good game. CJ Mosley finished with 10 total tackles and 1 pass deflection. Baldy just came out with a breakdown of him. You gotta watch that, man. I didn't realize how awesome CJ played yesterday until I saw Baldy break it down. His patience is what stood out to me the most. It's honestly comical. Like a play is called, the snap is called, and CJ's just sitting there. Everybody else is moving around, and CJ doesn't move. Like, he just scans the field, and you just gotta watch Baldy's breakdown, because it was so awesome to watch that CJ Mosley actually, show up, because we are paying CJ Mosley a lot of money, and it's awesome to see him finally playing healthy football for the New York Jets. We also saw a very good game from Michael Carter II, 8 total tackles. We also saw a great game from Bryce Hall, and Bryce Hall has been probably the most underrated player for this Jets defense, because nobody's passing his way. And that goes a long way. If you're not getting targeted, that means you're playing suffocating defense. And he's also a very good tackler for a cornerback. I've noticed him, attacking guys in the running game, which is really good to see. But overall, what's your guys' thoughts of CJ Mosley finally, breaking out and looking like the guy that we paid for, and the overall, defense? Because I feel like there's a lot of guys that you can talk about that flash in this defense. We could talk about it as a whole. But let's talk about it like individual players. So starting off with CJ Mosley, what did you see from him the most, Ali?
Just his presence on the field, the leadership. The Jets need a leadership on the defense real bad. And when Jamal Adams left, we really didn't know who to look up to, maybe Quinnen Williams. But it was still not enough, especially in the backfield. in the defense. So getting CJ Mosley out there and him playing at a high level. I mean, he almost had a pick six, I believe, like later in the game where he had it tipped on his fingers, and literally it could have been a pick six if he would jumped on it a little bit earlier. But he played lights out. Um, he's showing that like he's ready to go. Him being out was just not like a reason to be out of football. He just wanted it was an actual family concern. And he wants to play football and he wants to play at a high level and become a leader of this football team. And that's what he's showing. There's a lot of young guys back there. There's a lot of young guys, and you need a presence, a veteran presence where a guy is telling all these guys where to move. I saw multiple times he's telling linebackers to move over there, safeties to go over there. He's the commander in chief of that defense, and that's why that defense played pretty well so far, especially how young they are. Obviously, like seeing CJ Mosley out there, man. When he almost got that pick six, it got me like with the home opener against Buffalo when he had that pick six. I was like, he was about to have that same moment again. He was this close of having that moment, and we finally have a guy that's ready to ball, and we paid him a lot of money to come do what he's doing right now, be the leader and make plays when he needs to. And he has the vision, a football-minded vision. He knows how to, he does his homework. He knows where to be at what place on the field. He reads the plays already, and he guides the young guys. So, I mean, I don't know what else you can ask for. His play is maybe not going to dictate a win or loss, but you got to have to look at him as a leader of that defense, especially how young it is.
Yeah, man. And if you guys didn't listen to his press conference after the game, it is definitely a must watch. Jack, what was your thoughts of CJ Mosley leading this defense and actually putting him in a good situation? Because we all know that the defense showed up. The defense has been good for the past 2 weeks. It's the offense. It's the offense that's been losing us this game. And CJ Mosley has been the captain and been the leader. So what's your impressions of him so far? Because we finally get to see CJ Mosley play football. Isn't that crazy for the Jets?
I know. 2 full games of CJ Mosley. I feel like my prayers have been answered. Honestly, he's looked good, man. It's good to see, like Ali said, that he's the leader that we expected for this overall very very young and inexperienced defense. And he's obviously still a great player. He's clearly got a nose for the football. I mean, he always has, but clearly he still does. With 10 total tackles yesterday and a pass deflection. So you can't really ask for much more out of your linebacker than a game like that. So for CJ to be out there anchoring this defense, honestly, it's just very refreshing, and I'm thankful that through 2 games that he's playing well and that he's healthy, and it's crazy that we got to this place that we did with him. Basically not seeing him on the field for 2 full seasons. But here we are, and 2 years later, he still looks like a stud, and he still looks like he's ready to be the leader of this defense. But outside of CJ Mosley, I gotta say I've been very impressed through 2 games with this with the young secondary, specifically the cornerbacks. Obviously the safeties.
That was the next topic.
Obviously the safeties specifically kind of look like the weak spot of our defense, I would say overall.
Besides Marcus May, I mean, he's been balling out.
Yeah, he's been balling out. For week 1 was all right. I mean, coverage wise, he hasn't been as good as I would hope, but he's still making plays and making tackles and stuff like that. And it wasn't yesterday. It was week 1 when I think it was Dan Arnold that he absolutely laid out with a beautiful solo tackle. And for Marcus May, a safety to be able to do that. Still at his age now, to a big bodied tight end like that. I love the intensity that he plays with. Hopefully, it's only two games in, so hopefully we get a season like we got last year from Marcus May. But specifically the cornerbacks, man, Michael Carter II and Bryce Hall have been fantastic through 2 games. Bryce Hall has been targeted a very small number of times. I forget the actual. I was reading a tweet that
4.
Yeah, something you tweeted earlier today. I was reading it, and he's only allowed. I think maybe he's been targeted 5 times, and he's allowed 2 receptions. And none of them have really gone for any significant yardage. So Bryce Hall's playing lockdown man coverage through 2 games, which you love to see out of Bryce Hall, man, because that was a guy that Joe Douglas kind of took a chance on. He's, as we've said in the stream before, he was kind of like a second, third round guy. That was kind of his destiny, and then got a really bad ankle injury. Missed pretty much his whole last year at college, and then we managed to snag him in the 5th round. So that's Joe Douglas taking a chance on a player that's coming off of a very significant injury, and so far it's really paying off, man. So Bryce Hall so far is a steal for the Jets, and very happy to have him out there. He's playing at a high level, and the rookie Michael Carter II, man. I mean, right up there with Bryce Hall. Not playing as good as Bryce Hall is doing. But I was not expecting that, honestly, out of a rookie. But Michael Carter II is playing very good football. And even Javelin Guidry as well was making some plays yesterday. He's a guy that I've been impressed with as well so far this year. I have confidence in him to be our slot cornerback so far. Very early in the season, guys. Anything can happen. But I would honestly say that the most underwhelming part of the defense so far, unfortunately, is this defensive line. I mean, these guys are still getting after it, but the run defense isn't as good as we all expect it to be as Jets fans. And obviously, Carl Lawson was a huge loss and really set this defense back from really reaching its full potential this year. But that being said, with all these names that we still have, Quinnen Williams, Foley Fatukasi, John Franklin Myers, Sheldon Rankins, these guys are beasts, and although they did a much better job getting after the quarterback yesterday than they did week 1 against the Panthers, it's not the electrifying constant pressure that I thought it was going to be, at least not through the first 2 games. The Panthers have a terrible offensive line, so we got to remember that. The Patriots have a much better offensive line, and although we did get to Mac Jones, I feel like the times outside of where we actually got him to the ground, he was kind of just hanging out in the pocket, making easy throw after easy throw. He didn't seem to be, under pressure a lot. So I'd say overall, it's kind of weird because we all went into this year expecting this defensive line to be lights out, the best part of this defense. And obviously, as I just mentioned, nobody was expecting Carl Lawson to, tear his Achilles and miss the whole year. I still think, I'm going to wake up from a bad dream and that's going to be, just not true. But it's just weird that the defensive line is not what we expected. Meanwhile, we thought that our cornerbacks in particular were really going to be struggling.
Yeah.
And these guys are playing very good football. So at least it's good to see that these young corners are playing lockdown man coverage. And I have confidence in Michael Carter II, Bryce Hall, and I'll even throw Javelin Guidry's name in there moving forward. I like where we're at as a defense. We're hanging in there. Now we just need this offense to, do their part.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up the secondary because that was the next topic I was going to talk about. So myself and Ali will talk about that next. And another guy that deserves credit in the secondary, in my opinion, is Brandon Echols. 6th-round rookie. He's been the other outside starting corner alongside Bryce Hall. The cornerback room is Bryce Hall on the outside starting, Brandon Echols starting on the outside, and there are 2 slot cornerbacks, or Javelin Guidry, who's an undrafted free agent last year, and a rookie Michael Carter II. And going into the season, Jack said it perfectly. What did we expect from the defense? We expected this defensive line to bail out the cornerbacks, so the cornerbacks are going to be getting lit up all season. It's going to be a long year for them. And, hey, it's only week 2. The cornerbacks are going to get lit up in a game. Warning. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. But I am very blown away, and I'm very, pleased. They exceeded our expectations by so much. I did not expect these corners to look this good throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. There's only 3 teams in the NFL. I saw this tweet from Michael Nania, who will actually be on the channel tomorrow for a live stream. He tweeted that there's 3 teams in the NFL that has cornerbacks not give up a touchdown, and the New York Jets are one of them. And the other one is, unfortunately, the Denver Broncos, who will be versing next week. So that tells you that the Jets cornerbacks are very good. And we also have to realize who is playing the cornerback positions. We don't got to – and see, this is why I was trying to tell you guys we don't need to bring in a band-aid veteran corner because they're just going to be a stopgap guy that's just going to be here for a year and leave. Like, there's no reason for that. We're building for the future. So giving Brennan Eccles the entire season to develop, and hey, even if he's not the guy, we have other guys that are ready to, fill in for his shoes, like Jason Pinnock, who's another rookie. So Robert Saleh is handing the keys to these young guys in the secondary to develop. And I will say one thing about this cornerback room, you can just sense and look at the fundamentals of the coaching staff. Like, there's one thing that really stood out to me the most about these cornerbacks that seems like it happens often. That's just pure fundamental football that is so awesome to see as a Jets fan because we've lacked fundamentals for so long. If you guys go back and watch film or watch highlights or even the future, you'll notice this. And this is just pure fundamental football. It should be easy. It's an easy concept to do for corners, but we've lacked it. Whenever and Michael Carter II did this the best in week 1. Whenever the wide receiver reels in the ball, the cornerback's job is to punch that ball out, put your hands in between their hands, and rip it out. The amount of times I've seen Michael Carter II do that to perfection. The amount of times I saw Brennan Eccles do that to perfection. Even Javelin Guidry, Bryce Hall, they have a feel for breaking up the pass. It's tight coverage. The ball's in their hands. They stick their arm in between their two hands, and they rip the ball out. It seems easy. It seems simple, but that's just fundamental football, and that's a branch of coaching. That's a branch of the system of Robert Saleh of being violent and being physical. Outside of the secondary, who I was very impressed with on the defensive side of the ball yesterday, Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams had an insane play where I honestly forgot who number 56 was. We were at the game, and I see that crazy, just insane hit. He's getting riled up, and I'm like, who's 56? Like, I'm so pissed off that I don't remember who that is. And then I go on Twitter, I'm like, oh my God, that's Quincy Williams. He's getting the starting job right now, and he's dominating. Quincy Williams finished with 5 total tackles. This is a waiver wire pickup. You got to give Joe Douglas credit when it comes to the waiver wire snags because you want me to list off everybody that he's got so far when he came to the Jets? He's picked up Braxton Berrios, who's been a contributor since he came to the Jets. He picked up Ty Johnson, who's been, looked very good yesterday. John Franklin Myers, he picked up on the waiver wire. He looks like our best defensive lineman. And then now we got Quincy Williams, and obviously it's only 2 games, and he actually only played 1 game. And you can't read too much into it yet. But if Quincy Williams can come in here and have a good role for this Jets linebacker core that's been decimated with injuries, that's another home run. So I love what I saw from Quincy Williams. Shaq Lawson also looked pretty good. He showed a lot of juice, a lot of energy out there on the defensive line. He had a bunch of tackles for losses in the run game. I love what I saw from Shaq Wilson. And then when it comes to the 3 sacks, Marcus May flying off the edge. That's such a great thing to see Marcus May get a sack because we saw him get 2 sacks in week 1 last year, and we thought it was going to be like, oh my God, Marcus May we don't need Jamal Adams. He's going to be blitzing the quarterback, getting all the sacks. We're good. And then he really didn't do that for the rest of the season. But for Marcus May to go out there, make big-time tackles in open field, being the veteran presence in the secondary that we desperately need for the communication aspect, having that mentality of just absolutely being a violent hitter, he looked really good. Sheldon Rankins getting his first sack as a New York Jet yesterday is another good sign because he's a pass rush guy. And then some people are asking, where's Quinnen Williams at? Well, I knew going into this year, I expected him to have a slow start because we have to remember, guys, and this isn't an excuse. This is just the reality of Quinnen Williams. He broke his damn foot in the offseason. He was recovering with surgery for 4 months. He missed the entire OTAs. He missed the entire training camp. He missed the entire preseason. And it's going to take some time before Quinnen Williams gets back to what we saw last year. And it's definitely unfortunate that injury had to happen, but that's just the truth of the matter. And luckily for us, we have guys like John Franklin Myers. We have guys like Sheldon Rankins where we don't have to rely on Quinnen Williams to be a dominant presence up the middle to get to the quarterback. Quinnen Williams had 1 tackle, and that 1 tackle was a really dominant tackle for a loss in the run game. So all in all, man, I'm very impressed with the secondary. I think Jets fans should be very happy that we have a young nucleus of guys that this coaching staff is really determined to develop over time, because if we can get Bryce Hall to be a future starting cornerback for this team, and we can get Brennan Eccles to be, a potential role player for this team, if we found our future slot cornerbacks in Javelin Guidry and Michael Carter II, that's really good for the future of this team, defensively speaking, because all those guys are on cheap contracts for the next couple of seasons. Let me put this into perspective real quick. We are, and this is going to make some guys depressed, and get ready for this, guys. This is really upsetting. The amount of money that we're paying our entire cornerback room outside of Justin Hardy, is the same amount of money that we're paying Trumaine Johnson this year for his dead cat money hit. Bryce Hall, Brennan Eccles, Michael Carter II, Javelin Guidry, Jason Pinnock, Isaiah Dunn. Those 6 cornerbacks are getting paid the same amount that we're giving Trumaine Johnson as a dead cap hit this season. That's just doesn't make sense in my brain. So, Ali, what's your thoughts about this Jets young secondary, man? Because going into the season, I think every Jets fan expected the worst. We cut Bless Austin. We're giving the keys to a rookie, Brandon Eccles, who was a 6th-round pick. Our expectations are low, and it's week 2. It's only, we only saw 2 games. They can easily get lit up in a couple games down the road. That's part of the ebbs and flows of being rookies and being a young secondary. But what's been your overall thoughts about this secondary exceeding expectations so far earlier in the year?
I think I'm like some of the few that were pretty confident in the secondary, and now they're proving me right. Because I just like the approach they had with the cornerback position. They are looking at it like they want to develop their own guys. They want to develop guys that can be here for a long time and just have homegrown talent. Guys that they can bring in and, go play ball. And that has to do a lot with Robert Saleh, because I know he can have a solid defense, because we saw that in San Francisco. He has injuries. He brought in guys who we don't even know about and made them look good. And these cornerbacks have fight. If you watch their film, if actual Jet fans can watch their film and Football Junkies can watch the film, like, they're good. And wherever college they were at, they were excellent. They just weren't drafted high because they just weren't on people's board, but they can ball out. It's awesome to see how they made the jump. I feel like they had a much better game this week than last week. Sorry about the voice crack. But it's awesome to see that. I think a lot of people were concerned about the cornerback position, and finally we're seeing like a respectable, secondary. It's fun to see that. We're gonna keep seeing that. I think we're gonna have harder competition coming up. We have Titans in a couple weeks. These guys are gonna be hard. We have Buffalo. We got Savon Diggs, who's gonna control Savon Diggs. We just gotta figure it out. But these cornerbacks are playing lights out. They're up for the challenge. They're gonna have some, some setbacks, and that's expected. As how young they are.
Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, it's simple. It's simple to see, and it's awesome to see a cornerback room that's so young, but it's producing on the field. And I was on board since the beginning for that, and that's one thing I will credit Coach Salah and defensive coordinator, that they've nailed that position. Made that defense respectable, and that's the reason we were still in the game in the third quarter, is because of those cornerbacks and because of that defensive line. So, hats off to them. They have a lot more competition coming up, and they're gonna have some hiccups, but so far so good.
Yeah, so far so good, and the competition has not been there yet for the cornerbacks. They haven't really gone up against any premier wide receiver or any premier quarterback just yet, and they're going to be, tested. They're going to be games where they get lit up, and I really think that, it's going to be a good situation for this Jets young secondary to learn from. And a fun fact real quick about the Jets-Patriots game that might shock some people. The New York Jets won the time of possession against the Patriots. The New York Jets have more passing yards than the Patriots. The New York Jets have more rushing yards than the Patriots. The New York Jets lost 25-6. That is insane. And you want to know why we lost 25-6? Because we lost a turnover battle, and that's the most important. If you have 4 turnovers to 0, you're going to lose the game. But isn't that kind of insane, guys? That we had more rushing yards, more passing yards, and 1 time of possession in that game? It doesn't feel that way. Feel like we got blown out on all phases of the ball. But I don't know. I don't know how to – I'm not saying that's a positive, but it's just kind of crazy that, a Patriots team that's known to be run first, we have more rushing yards than them. And, I feel like the passing yards, we have more because, at the end of the game, it was more garbage time, and Zach was just the Patriots defense wasn't going all in and all that stuff. But the time of possession is a big thing. But the all in all, the recap that thought is if you lose the turnover battle, that's where you're going to lose the game. 4-0. 4-0 is tough. So to finish off the stream, guys, we're going to be live for another like 20 minutes or so. We're going to open this up to a Jets Q&A. So anybody that feels free to come in and ask some questions. If you guys want to join the show, and we'll take live callers as well. Let me know if you guys want to come in here, and we'll take some callers, and you guys can let loose your frustrations and talk some Jets football. Also, guys, make sure you smash that like button. We have around 44 likes and around 100 people watching this. I really genuinely appreciate if you guys can just smash that like button. It means a lot to the channel, so we can get as many Jets fans in here to have some, open conversation and, Jets therapy. So if you guys want to call in, let me know. I'll put the link, and you guys can come in and talk to all three of us and give your guys' thoughts of week number 2. Or you can just ask us questions in the comment section. So ask away any Jets questions related to yesterday's game, or you want to talk about the Denver game upcoming. Anything you guys really want us to talk about.
All right. Jets Q&A time. Talk about the Lombardi curse.
I did say that the passing yards came in garbage time. It was just a stat that I thought was interesting, that they were winning time of possession, passing yards, and running game, but still got blown out. I'm not reading too much into it. You don't have to call me a clown for that, but go for it, friends. All right. On a positive note, Oliver says, literally every part of the team seemed to play well other than the wide receivers and quarterback. I agree, Oliver. I said this to begin the game, to begin the stream, rather. It's pretty crazy that everybody outside of these two position groups kind of played a good game, and that's why in my video this morning I said I like our chances if the quarterback doesn't have 4 turnovers. Everyone in the comments like, you like our chances, yelling at me. I'm like, I'm the only reason why I said that with confidence is because the team on defense and the offensive line and the run game, they look pretty damn good. And that's pretty dope. How do you think we will match up against Denver this week? Ali, what do you think about this one?
It's hard to say after that performance, just what team we're going to see on that field. They could obviously win that game. It's not – if they play football, they move the chains, Zach Wilson actually performs, they have a really good chance on that. I trust that defense to do something. I know Jerry Jeudy, I think, will be out this week as well. So, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater has been playing pretty well recently. But, we also – I think we did pretty well with Mac Jones, and he's been playing well too. So we'll see. I think there's a really good chance that we win that game if they go in with Zach Wilson, just moving the chain, not doing too much, get that run game going like they did again. But the question is, will they put everything together finally? If that's the question, because in the first game, the offensive line sucked, the running game was not working, but Zach Wilson looked good. He was making some nice throws, a touchdown, the 2-point conversion. The defense was okay. But in this game, Zach Wilson did not look good. The wide receivers did not look good, but the offensive line and running backs did look good. So they got to just mesh everything together. And if they can become a team, and that's what I've been saying, that they need to become a football team, they have a good chance of winning that game.
Jack, I want to answer this question from Mark. Aside from the loss, how was the atmosphere at the stadium?
Yeah, it was great. I tweeted it. I think Jets fans are the best in the world. Obviously, once we're, down pretty big and it's not looking like we're going to come back, we're going to get less rowdy. Obviously, that's going to happen with any fan base. But it was just absolutely incredible being in a sea of all Jets fans again, and just, that big-time family feeling that you get being around a bunch of fellow Jets fans. There's nothing like it, man. So I think, it was just a blessing for me to be able to be there yesterday, especially with my buddy Rich and getting to meet up with Ali. Great day. Obviously, we wish for a different outcome of the game, but like your question says, aside from the loss, the atmosphere at the stadium was unbelievable, man. There's nothing like it.
Yeah, man, the atmosphere was phenomenal all the way up until the game started. And I tweeted out, I'm like, guys, like when, not if, when the Jets become a contending team in the NFL, that life is gonna be crazy. Like that's gonna be a place you want to be at every single game. Like it's gonna be rowdy. Like you can sense the urgency, you can sense the passion in the fan base, you can sense the camaraderie, the you can also sense the 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 misery. You can sense that, and it's a special thing. Jets fans, there's nothing like us. Um, there really isn't. Let's see. The first week it was the O line who was a disaster. Now this week it was Zach was a disaster. Who's gonna be the one to ruin our chance at winning this coming week? That's a good question. Hopefully that's not the trend throughout the season. Because if you think about it, it's interesting. You know, all we heard going up and leading up to the Patriots, offensive line needs to play better, running backs need to play better. And maybe the coaching staff kind of like forgot, like, oh, we really got to focus on the passing game. And then during that week of practice, they put all their effort into the run game and offensive line play, where they didn't put as much time into preparing the quarterback and the wide receivers, and we saw what happened. So that's a testament, and that's going to happen with a young, experienced coaching staff. This is their time to learn how to, battle week-to-week differences. But what I will say is this. What would you guys think about this team? And this is another hypothetical. It's another what if. It's hard to really go into these scenarios. But if you combine the Panthers positives with the Patriots positives in terms of how the Jets played, if we got Zach Wilson's second half performance and the wide receivers' performance in week 1, combined with the offensive line of running game from week 2, what does this offense look like? And that's the potential of this offense when it's all clicking. Like in your head, how does that feel? Zach Wilson looking like the way he did at the end of the Panthers game with protection, with Michael Carter looking like a stud. That is a hypothetical, but I genuinely can say with confidence that we will see that this season. We will see when the offense completely clicks on all cylinders, whether that's week 3 or week 10. I don't know when it's going to happen, but when the offense does click and everybody is in sync, the offensive line, the running back, the quarterback, the wide receivers, it's going to be fun to watch. And one thing I will say on a side note that's unrelated, we need a damn tight end. Yeah, we need a tight end. Let's see.
100%, man. Tight ends are non-existent on this current Jets team. I don't want to hear any more about Tyler Kroft and his abilities.
Why, you guys don't like Daniel Brown? Come on.
Yeah, bro.
He's a GOAT. He's a GOAT.
Ryan Griffin out wide.
LaFleur is not good so far. Indeed, he's not. He is definitely someone to look at. The Jets scored 20 points of offense in 2 games. That's all-star to the offensive play caller. After week 1, the O-line looked so much better yesterday. They made holes for the running backs, and they were quite a few times. Zach was still in the pocket with enough time. Why didn't they stick with the run game? That's a good question. What do you think about this take, Jack?
Yeah, I don't, it's, it's just, you can never, everything's a double-edged sword and bittersweet in Jets world and being a Jets fan, because, I was saying all week, if the run game isn't working, don't stick with it. Yesterday, the run game was working, finally, after it being non-existent week 1, and we didn't stick with it. We kept throwing the ball, but not the passes I was hoping to see. So not anything effective. So it's just like, like I said before, we can never have any nice things, Yesterday they clearly decided they wanted to throw the ball as I wanted them to, but the result is 0 touchdowns and 4 interceptions from the quarterback. So I think yesterday was just destined to be a loss, I guess. I guess there's no other way to look at it, because everything we needed to be fixed from last week was fixed. We just needed Zach to play not even better. We needed Zach to play as good as he played last week, and we could have been in that game with the help that we got from our running game yesterday. we could have been in that game for sure. And also, I just feel the need to mention this. I was absolutely infuriated at some of the calls yesterday. That just, again, it's just always calls going New England's way. It seems like, and I'm not, I'm not one of those conspiracy theory nuts. I don't think Belichick is paying off the refs, but it really was mind blowing for me yesterday to watch a garbage roughing the passer call go Mac Jones's way, and then a couple of drives later, an even more blatant, worse hit on Zach Wilson doesn't get called, and those things affect games, especially a call like that where it's an automatic first down type of penalty. It really does affect a game, and that's another thing that I feel like we should mention is that the Jets need to clean up the penalties on our end. The stuff that we can control, the stuff in our hands that's not in the ref's hands, not up to the ref's decision of what's roughing the passer and what's not roughing the passer. We need to clean up the penalties and not, add beating ourselves with penalties to the lack of offensive yards that we're getting, because the lack of offensive yards mixed with penalty yards, it's probably a net of a scary number that I don't even want to think about, of actual total yards this year that we've successfully accrued. It's probably a garbage number. And going into week 3, going against a hot Denver Broncos team, their defense is looking great. As Richie said, their cornerbacks haven't allowed a touchdown.
They shut down Trevor Lawrence.
We got things we need to clean up, man. We got a lot of things we need to clean up on both sides of the ball. Obviously, although the defense is playing much better, we got a lot of things to clean up. So I'm hoping next week that we see something out of Michael Floor that makes me think that he has some sort of pedigree and football knowledge of his own, and that he's not just Matt's little brother who got a job because he's Matt's little brother. Because that's what it feels like for me right now. And I know that sounds ridiculous and over the top, but I need to see some sort of offensive consistency next week against a really good Denver Broncos defense. So whether it's going to be the run game or, Zach Wilson not throwing ducks all over the field for 4 quarters, it's just got to be some sort of effective game plan. Let's see some easy throws for Zach Wilson like Mac Jones was getting all day yesterday.
Yeah, man. Very well said. Terrence asks, do we put Michael Carter at the running back 1 because he performed well? This is probably the best positive of the day for me. Jack mentioned it earlier. Our entire drive up to Jersey, up to the game, we were like, all right, Jack, who do we want to see? Who do we expect to be the flash of the offensive defense side of the ball? And I said, offensively, I want it to be Michael Carter. Defensively, I want it to be Michael Carter. I got my wish. Both of them balled out. I do think that Michael Carter should be the running back 1. But I will say that the scheme that they run, they're going to feed all 3 running backs, and they get a feel for the game. And whoever's hot, they're going to keep in the game and feed them the ball, which is why Michael Carter was the running back 1 in this game. He got the most touches. Michael Carter looks so damn good. Like, Jack and I were talking about it. Like, I want to see Michael Carter go out there and prove to be, like, a guy that's worth drafting. Like, I'm sick of, like, all I do, and I understand this, guys. Like, it's my job now. Like, I hype up a lot of players, and sometimes they don't happen, right? Well, I hyped up Michael Carter, and it's good. It's refreshing to see some glimpse of the talent, glimpse of the things we saw at UNC. Because what did he do so well at UNC, Michael Carter? When he has space to work with, he makes guys miss. He's so shifty. He's literally impossible to bring down if you can get him in open space. And that was my issue with week 1 was we didn't get to see Michael Carter in open space. You can't really, judge Michael Carter's rookie debut when you don't give him an opportunity with the ball in his hands with space. We saw time and time again, Michael Carter, that out route pass, Zach Wilson finds him in rhythm. Michael Carter has the ball. There's a guy in front of him. What does he do? A little shutter step. The Patriots defensive back tries to hold on to his leg. Michael Carter breaks the tackle. He makes another guy miss. Bursts up the sideline. Another 1st and 10 run to the outside. Really beautiful block from Elijah Vera Tucker or Connor McGovern. And by the way, Connor McGovern had a bounce back game because he was absolutely atrocious week 1. He was, I think, graded one of the best offensive linemen yesterday besides Morgan Moses. And Elijah Vera Tucker also had a great game. But there was a play to the left side First and 10 run. Michael Carter got to the second level. Right when he got to the second level, and a beautiful juke move makes someone miss in open field, picks up the first down, and then he had a 17-yard run. So I'm very impressed with Michael Carter. I'm very happy that he looked good. But Ty Johnson also looked great. He had a really awesome run of his own, trucking someone's helmet off. So, it's good to have a deep running back room. Let's see. Any other questions in the chat you guys see? I haven't been looking. How do you guys feel like TD Finstock is feeling? We'll see Wednesday night. The Dolphins are coming off a 35-0 shutout, and Tua got injured. So it's interesting to see what TD's take is. And the AFC roundtable is going to be tough for myself as well, because I'm going to be after debating with Master at work, and we just got destroyed from the Pats. Jets D was impressive, I thought. Yes, they were, David. That's a very good positive that we can take from the game.
Oh man, I'm so upset. Here we are, 0-2. Going to Denver, where they can't even breathe up there.
This is a good take about Zach Wilson that I noticed as well. I also feel like Zach Wilson throws off his back foot a lot, something Darnold used to have problems with. He relies on his arm talent to make throws instead of stepping into them. So, Ali, what's your thoughts about this? Because this is definitely something that I've noticed. The fundamentals, the footwork, it's not there. We know that he has arm talent and he can make those throws, but you need to understand that you got to step into your throws more often than not. I like to see you get away with those crazy zip throws because you have the talent, but I'd rather him, have the fundamentals.
Yeah, that actually is concerning because he needs to learn that this ain't college anymore. This is the NFL, and these guys are going to make plays on that ball if it's not accurate. And you saw that yesterday. He got picked off 4 times. And the offensive line was there. He could have just stayed there rather than running every 2 seconds. You don't need to run all the time. I know he has the talent, the off-schedule passes, making those talented throws. We know he can do that. But you need to do the little things, and that's what we've been preaching this entire stream, that he needs to learn how to do the little things. He needs to grind it out, and Robert Saleh even said that. You need to grind it out and not just look for the big-time play. He is a rookie. He needs to learn fast because Sam Darnold did do the same, same things. But obviously, Zach did it better in college than what Darnold did. But Darnold started doing consistently, and he would fail every single time. Zach has converted here and there, but for overall purposes, Zach just needs to, just be a quarterback, man. Just be a normal quarterback. Don't overthink it, because if you didn't overthink it yesterday, you probably would have won that game. It's simple. Or it's been a closer game than what we saw, because he was just overthinking it. He was not there. He was on his back foot a lot, and that's terrible for a quarterback. You can't keep doing that to yourself. That's how injuries also, happen. So, yeah, I totally agree with that he just can't do that anymore. Robert Saleh needs to go up to him and be like, look, you just got to play football, man. You're the quarterback. You're the leader of this football team. I mean, you're a rookie leader of this football team. Right out of the gate. So you need to just go out there and just play ball, help your team win the football game, because this is not just about you. You don't have to make these incredible plays every 2 seconds. This ain't BYU. This is New York Jets. And if you're doing those plays consistently, you'll be out of the league soon. So you just can't make those plays. You can't get hurt like that. And you just got to move in the direction and just move the chains. Like I said earlier, move the chains. Don't look for the big plays. You can look for the big plays, but you need to have the foundation first. The basics down first, and then you can start transitioning to those big plays, because no one's catching those big plays right now. Literally no one is catching it. Even Elijah Moore couldn't catch it. Corey Davis, I guess, is catching it, but no one else really is. And yesterday no one did that. So he just needs to work on his mechanics, the way he progresses, and he'll be fine. But yeah, that is a concern for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's probably the biggest concern I have with Zach. after his week 2 performance outside of the interception. It's not like he had 4 picks and those were the only 4 bad throws of the game. He had a lot of inaccurate balls. One to come to mind, I know that there's pressure in his face, but we have Michael Carter wide open in the flat with like 15 yards of separation from a defender, and he throws it over his head. And then there's another play that he missed Berrios, and we can talk about all throws, but that's really it for today's stream, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I know that the Jets are 0-2, and I know that it's a really negative feeling around Jets land right now. But for you guys to come in here and support Jets media, support Ali, Jack, and myself, it means a lot to us. We're going to be here throughout the season, whether we are 0-17 or whether we're 15-2. So you guys know where to find us. We appreciate all the support. For us Jets fans, we understand what it's like to lose. This is nothing new to us. Obviously, we have a lot of high expectations. We have a lot of hype going into each season, and then we usually get disappointed. But keep your heads up. This is going to be a team that's going to learn. I have trust in Robert Saleh because I really genuinely do. I feel like he's going to get this ship sailing in the right direction for the future, and we'll see what happens. Denver's going to be a tough challenge. We're going up against a very, very good defense and a 2-0 team. That's actually going to be their home opener. Denver started off the season away in their first 2 games, and they beat and we also have to realize who they versed in the first 2 games. They beat the New York Giants and they beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. And now they're going home to verse the New York Jets. So we'll see what happens in that game. Stay tuned for more previews about that matchup between the Jets and Broncos. Ali, anything you want to say before we end the stream, man?
No, man, I just hope next week we see a professional football team on the field. That's all I got to say. I don't care if they lose. I really don't. I'll be happy if they win. I'll be really ecstatic. But I want to see a fight. I want to see a team that's fighting out there. It's going to be an away game. It's going to be loud. Zach Wilson's going to be pretty much in a loud for the first time in a loud experience. He needs to show that he can play well. I mean, he played well in Carolina, so you're going to be on the road again. Denver's going to be loud as hell. Those fans are crazy over there. So, play the full 4 quarters, make adjustments, because I did not see any adjustments this week. And just pray that Zach Wilson has a bounce back game because he needs it for the rest of the season. This team needs it. These wideouts need to make some plays for him as well. And hopefully offensive line stays consistent still. The running backs keep going. And this defense just keeps getting better. So again, hopefully, we can, win and show a fight at least. But yeah, it's just pretty much a wait and see type thing.
Indeed, man. Anything else you'd like to say, Jack, before we end the stream, man?
As always, thank you to everybody in the chat for hanging out with us and talking Jets. And I wish I was a Broncos fan because what a way to start the season against the Giants and then the Jaguars and then getting the Jets for your home opener. So the path to 3-0 is clear and lit up for the Denver Broncos. And here we are in the middle of another awesome season of Jets football that's underway. But in all seriousness, win or lose, I love this team until I die. And I love you too, and I love all you guys in the chat. So thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll be back next week.
Yeah, man, we'll be back next week. Stay tuned for more content. Once again, shout out to the sponsor of the stream, BetQL. Don't miss out on your chance to beat your sportsbook this football season. Use Jets Media down below for 25% off. Again, guys, shout out to everybody in the chat. It means a lot for all the support. Jersey Dolphins, Alex, Jay, Edward, Richard. Shout out to everybody. Each and every one of you guys means a lot. Let's go Jets. Let's go Jets. Peace out, everybody.